Hey guys, what is up? LL here with Etsy Entrepreneur. Today's video, I want to talk about growing your Etsy business. And this really applies to actually growing any business. You really have to decide when you start to think about, strategize, and talk about growth and do things to grow your shop is, do you want to spend more time or do you want to spend more money? It really boils down to those two very simple things to implement some not so simple things. When talking about growing your business, your Etsy business, really any business out there. So that's what you got to figure out. If you have a little bit of a budget to devote to your business, that helps. Then you don't have to spend quite as much time. But if you're like me when I started, or most people out there, when you're trying to get started, you really don't have much money. So then it comes down to just figuring out what to devote a lot of time to grow your business so you can make a little bit more revenue. So then you'll have a budget to devote to your business down the road, and then you don't have to devote as much time. All right. So as far as getting started early on, the main things to consider when talking about strategizing on growing your Etsy business is, as far as time goes, is social media. That's one way to grow your shop organically. Start a Facebook page for your shop, and start an Instagram page for your shop. A lot of people find a pretty good success on Instagram because it's a very visual social platform. On Etsy, a lot of shop sellers have really cool pictures and products. So, set up an Instagram account. You can link Facebook and Instagram together. Another good way to extend your reach out there is Pinterest. That's a very visual social platform, so you can share your listings and products on Pinterest. You can definitely do all three, and there's more out there. Those are just the top three. Don't overwhelm yourself. If you want to get started, just pick one to start, and then develop a workflow for that, and then you can kind of build off that once you get a good handle on how it works. Because I think a lot of people try to do everything at once, and then they get started with everything at once. It's very overwhelming, and then they stop everything. So that's what you don't want to do. So that's one way to do it. Keyword research is another way to develop your products and get them out there to more people. Finding what keywords are trending, what keywords are successful, which ones aren't successful, which are the best for your products, which ones bring in more traffic. So testing out different keywords, using your titles and tags, devoting a lot of time to that will help grow your Etsy business. Another thing is putting new products out there. All right, so if you're constantly putting new stuff out there, developing new products, making new products, on a daily and weekly basis, that'll help, your views, and it'll help your traffic, and it'll help people that follow your shop always get something new. So they're going to keep coming back because you're always going to have new stuff. Plus, Etsy likes to see new products out there, shops that are very active. So I would develop a workflow of putting new products out there, every day, or at a minimum, at least every week, to continue to see your shop grow. Because each of those new products, you're not going to have the same keywords, so that's going to span out and increase your audience. The next thing is a blog. You can develop a blog for your shop, basically highlighting your products, talking about your products, talking about other things that are related. So that's one way to increase your organic reach out there and your success. A lot of people have done that, so that's a great way to do it. Another way is do a website outside of Etsy. So, I've talked about this before. You can use Pattern by Etsy, which is fully integrated with Etsy, so it's seamless as far as putting products up on your shop. They'll automatically go to your Pattern website, which you can have your own separate domain name and everything like that. You can set it up and design it however you want it. So that's one easy way to do it, because otherwise you're going to have to go to another third party or develop your own website using the resources out there, which can be really time consuming. So I would suggest, if you want to start, just use Pattern to start to get your feet wet. and then you can use other resources, maybe Shopify or one of those other ones out there to do your website later on. All right, so those are the main things real quick that if you don't have a lot of money, but you want to grow your Etsy shop organically just by devoting more time and strategizing that way. Those are great ways to grow your shop. A lot of people have started out that way and have grown their shop to very, very, very large shops doing just those simple things. They're not difficult, but they do take time to do them, and you got to develop a workflow, because if you don't have stuff, a workflow of what you're doing each day and remaining consistent with those things, then it's going to fall by the wayside and it's going to really lose its effect. So it all really kind of boils down to developing a workflow and taking action on it and remaining consistent with those items. All right. So outside of that, maybe as your business grows and you do these things organically and you get used to doing them, you have a little bit of a budget going to devote to your shop. The next thing that you want to consider are, promoting your listings through promoted listings on Etsy. Starting out doing a budget there and starting out with a small campaign to promote your listing. So I would just be careful of your cost per clicks. You want to keep that low because it will use up your entire budget. So start with a small budget so you get your feet wet. A low cost per click setting, which you can set that up in the promoted listings, and just try it out and monitor your success. See if you're getting more sales, more more views, stuff like that. The other thing that you can do is go Google promoted listings through Etsy, so you can do that as well. They make it really easy. You just set your budget, turn whatever listings you want on, and then have at it. The downfall, at least as of now, is there's not as much customization as you can with the promoted listings side. Google's a little bit less. It's basically just turn stuff on, set your budget, or turn it off, whatever you want to do there. You can't set cost per click or anything like that. So just kind of keep that in mind, but it's worth a shot if you have a small budget just to try it out and test it. Outside of that, you can do Facebook advertising, which that's a whole nother can of worms. That is very advanced stuff, especially if you're newer. So I'm going to do some more videos about that specifically, but that is one way to grow your shop if you have a little bit of a budget. It's a great way to grow it through Facebook. You just really have to know what you're doing because it'll eat up your money really quick and it gets super, super confusing. So just keep that in mind as far as if you do decide to do it. And then lastly, you can start an email list. And this actually, I guess, could have been on the free side because there are third-party email providers that are free, and they'll charge you once you get to a certain number of subscribers. Say you get 500 people that subscribe, then they'll start charging you. So you can do ones that are free. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know there's ones with Aweber is a main one that integrates with Etsy, so that's a good one to use. I think that's around $20 a month or something like that. So it's not really too expensive, but it's a good way to start building your following. Maybe you offer a coupon code if they sign up, and then you can email them out new products and stuff like that. So you can definitely start building up your customer base and a following of people. So that's a good way to a good thing to do to start having an email list. So those are the main things off the top of my head as far as ways to grow your shop. Organically, very inexpensive or no expense. And then once you start having a budget and growing your shop, to kind of branch out and start investing in your business. Just keep in mind, you will always have to invest in your business, whether it be time or money. Once you get to a certain level, if you want to continue to grow, you're going to have to invest a little bit of money in your business. If you want it to grow and you want it to get bigger and you want it to be a little bit more serious than a hobby. So hopefully that helps, guys. That'll kind of give you a baseline of what you can kind of do right now, depending on where you're at on both ends of the spectrum, to grow your Etsy shop and be more successful. Until next time, guys, have a good rest of your day. Thanks.